today is the day, or is it? Hi, everyone, and welcome to Black Spring with Autumn. And it is Tuesday, and for many people, it is a recall Tuesday ish, but we'll see. We are not short on, dare I say, surprises. And well, I guess I cannot say surprises, full on surprises may not quite be accurate, or maybe even, honest. But I just want to thank you guys, of course, for coming in, and we're going to get started. I have about three things that I kind of want to deal with, and I will speak to some of your concerns that are in the comments and the chat room in just a little bit. But I want to give a thanks to our sponsors, and of course, viewers like yourself. And I will be right back. Well, thanks so much for coming in on this today. And I did put today left a little bit open-ended because of all the, dare I say, the things that are going on in California right now. And it looks like it kind of started we had some of the reportings to come out of, definitely out of SoCal, Woodland Hills for one. But I wanted to give you some information about the imagery and the infographic that you have before you. And I will do that. And thank you guys so much for coming in. Thank you so much again. And hello to Nick Smith, Jermaine G. And yes, I do apologize for the delay from earlier. And yeah, some crazy things were going on. Hi, Tyrants Bane, TDO. How are you? I missed your, it's almost like I don't get your notifications quite timely. I don't think I do, but I will catch up, not to worry. Okay. So I want to get into just a little bit. I don't know if you guys are familiar with, was it Rose McGowan? Of course, she is, she is, and she was an actress. And apparently she did a bit of a presser / endorsement of Elder, I guess it was on yesterday. Right. I hope you're doing well out there, TDOA. And I don't know. I think for one, I just want to start out by saying, her tone to me was a little bit, I wasn't quite sure how to take the opening of it. But then I listened to it a couple of times and then, okay. Then I kind of got, I think, she brought it down because I'm like, wow, this is really difficult to listen to this because of the way it's kind of been framed up. But however, I thought I might play some of it, but I don't know if I'll talk about it. I'll play just a little bit of it. I think there's a very short clip that I have, and we'll go back to that. We'll go into the McGowan Elder presser from yesterday, and then the shenanigans, of course, that are going on, of course, which I'm not surprised, but I have gotten some reports that quite a few people are showing up, and they're surprised that they are being told that they've already cast a ballot. And I do have some clips on that of people actually being present, casting, with that same kind of response. And I'll be able to show you that. And then we'll also have a liner from Market Watch that talks about, of course, some security or integrity measures, which I think is of course too late. And I anticipated something would go on, but who knew? So let's go to the McGowan portion of this, and we can talk about what is it, the caduceus that Marcy T mentioned or whatnot. But thank you guys so much for coming in. So I'm going to go ahead and share that screen with you, and then we'll go to our Market Watch on this whole process, or whatever. Should we call it a process? Is it a legitimate process at this point? We'll see. But I'm sure you have your own opinions on that. But I'm going to go ahead and share the screen, and make sure this is the correct one. Uh-oh. This is kind of sort of the right one, but not exactly what I was trying to pull out there. But yes, this will be Rose McGowan and her version of the endorsement there. Yeah. So I have it. Okay, sorry about that. So we'll get to that. I'm going to go ahead and share that with you, and I'll give you some commentary on that. And then we'll go through, I'll show you some of the shenanigans that have actually been caught on camera, in this process. So I don't think there's going to be a call tonight. In fact, if you're around, you still got about 2 hours plus to go and cast your ballot, and that's if they're not telling you you've already done it. So yeah, we'll go to that. All right, guys. Let me know if you can hear this. If you cannot, and I will make adjustments where available. Okay, this is really the struggle bus here. Okay, I think we're on the struggle bus there a little bit. Okay, sorry about that. One more time for the people in the back. All right, I'm going to get this going here. Too many things going on there. Okay, so this is a 2 minute and 50 minutes. I thought 2 minute and 50 seconds. 50 seconds of this clip, and you guys can try to decipher and discern for yourselves. And then I'll give you my 2 cents, and then we'll move forward with shenanigans and the liner and the anticipated response to what's going on there. All right, so this is Rose McGowan and an endorsement / expose of Newsom's wife, and a little bit of, it's kind of taking you back into, Weinstein and that situation. A little grimy there. But is anybody surprised? I don't know. You'll find out. You can decide for yourself.
It gives me no great pleasure to call out Democrats. I was a Democrat.
Activist and former actress Rose McGowan endorses Larry Elder for governor. She says Gavin Newsom's wife, Jennifer, a documentary filmmaker, called her before McGowan's assault allegations against Harvey Weinstein appeared in the New York Times. McGowan says California's first partner was calling on behalf of Boies Schiller, a law firm representing Weinstein at the time.
So when I finally got on the phone with Jennifer Siebel Newsom for what I assumed was about movie projects, imagine my surprise when she says, "What can Boies Schiller do to make you happy?" And I had no idea what that was. So I said nothing and hung up on her. That was my last contact with her.
What Rose said about Gavin Newsom's wife is a bombshell.
McGowan says Californians should elect Elder.
Do I agree with him on all points? No. So what? He is the better candidate. He is the better man.
At a campaign event targeting Latino voters in Sun Valley, I asked the governor about McGowan.
What David Boies could do in terms of the Harvey Weinstein thing. Your reaction to that, what do you say?
It's a curious closing argument in this election, that she would be with someone who doesn't believe women are as smart as men, doesn't believe women have the right to choose even after they're raped. Those allegations are outrageous and false, and says everything you need to know about his campaign and candidacy.
He denies all the allegations, says that that's totally fabricated. What do you say to that?
Well, all I want to know is,
can you imagine if that story had been alleged against me or against my significant other? That's all anybody would be talking about.
Every recent poll shows that Governor Newsom should easily defeat the recall. Millions of people have already voted. The majority of them are Democrats. But the Democrats here making the argument that the margin of victory matters.
I know that the people of California are excited to defeat this recall and defeat this recall big.
President Joe Biden will be in Long Beach for the campaign's final rally on Monday night.
I think the Biden agenda either gets tailwinds or headwinds. And I think he recognizes that. And I think it's one of the reasons he's out here.
Elder drawing a large and enthusiastic crowd at the Junkyard Cafe in Simi Valley.
Did you detect some energy from the crowd, Alex? Are you suggesting that maybe, just maybe, there's a sliver of a chance that I'm going to win this thing?
I asked each candidate for their final pitch to voters.
We're better than this moment. We're better than the last 4 years. We're better than Trump. And Trumpism. Vote no on this recall.
50% plus one had vote to recall Gavin Newsom. Vote recall Gavin Newsom. Love you, Alex.
Okay, that is a version of what I was going to show you. However, the actual interview not the interview, but the actual presser actually goes into a little bit more of the deets on the nature of, it's kind to me, I'm not sure if I agree with hitching all of these things to, to somebody's endorsement. And especially when it comes to Hollywood, like, I mean, my gosh, you're actually, and I'm not saying that, of course, every single person in Hollywood is cut from the same cloth, but I'm just thinking, it was a little bit I don't know, I wouldn't say disturbing, but a little bit brow raising for me to hear her say that, of course it gives her no pleasure to call out the Dems. And I'm just thinking, well, I don't know if that's the way you want to start this thing off, but she did. And she kind of came way off of that before the end of it. So before I do any more comments on this, let me just see what Derek says. Hi, Derek C. Williams. How are you? Derek says, it is my understanding that folks voted who had not yet voted. Imagine their shock when they arrived at the polls. Yes, and I have some footage from that to share with you. And I also have a live source that's telling me, very similar things that's happening in quite a few locations, not just the Woodland Hills area. So I don't think today is the day, but I'll just keep going here. So thank you so much for coming in. He says, late to the party. Thank you for coming in. And he says, quote, Derek says 10 things you can't say. I had no idea. Maybe, I listen to him kind of regularly. So some things I think kind of get by me, or at least on Instagram, on the social media stuff. So, but yeah, so just let me go into, there's another section of this that kind of gives a little bit more, context to, I think Rose McGowan was making quite a few points. And, to me, she sounded a little bit like Jordan B. Peterson, a little bit of Yuri Bezmenov. She was just sounding like a whole bunch of people kind of rolled into one, which I thought was interesting. But by the end of it, I had a totally different perspective on what she was actually doing. I was thinking, my gosh, this is a completely narcissistic, monologue here. But I thought it was well done, but it got better. I'm like, this has to get better. And so I'll play just a little bit of that, and then I'll go into the actual shenanigans. So because first off, I just thought, well, if you're going to do an endorsement, just do an endorsement, right? But then you're going to wrap in Newsom's wife into the endorsement. It just kind of gets a bit messy here. So, can you bring it back to what exactly what are you guys doing here? What is this pairing here? But I'll stop talking and I'll keep going here. Jermaine G. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it. So I will play some of that for you. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but just, I think that, she had a lot to say, but I'm just not sure. I think that these people, they're under a spell in many cases, but I also think that the system is so corrupt and it's so rigged that I don't know what's to be done at this point. So we'll see here. All right, so I'm going to stop that one, and then I'll take you to the one that we want to actually share here. Thank you guys so much for coming in. If I have anybody here that's actually voting or voted already today, if you could give us a 1 in the chat room. At some point, I think I'll have somebody that's going to come out. It's Mad Militant here. I don't think so. Let's see here. Actually, let me take a quick little break and I will be right back. This show is brought to you in part by our sponsors. Whether you're interested in health, culture, politics, scripture, automobiles, or music, please check out Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Marcy T., Joseph Francis Burton, Paralysis by Analysis, Chrysler Imperial H, Little Miss Goth, AZ Infidel, Cold War Jesus, Anthony Scioli, and Let the Truth Be Told. We'll be right back right after this. All right, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I do have a comment from Derek C. Williams. He said my vote would have been for elder. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. I appreciate it. Okay, so I'm just going to go into this just a little bit, and so just you can get some of this, but then of course I'll move us on to actually some polling action, some polling shenanigans. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And so before I do that, I want to just preface it with this. It's for one, I kind of thought when she said one thing that was pretty poignant to me. Like she was asking the reporters, please don't report on me as an actress. And I'm just thinking, okay, well, how can anyone forget some of your lines over the years? I mean, I don't know whether you guys are 90s born or any of that, or in any of that culture, but there was a movie that she did, of course. It was like Jawbreaker, I believe. She was those unforgettable lines, things like, I did it. I killed Liz. I killed the teen dream, deal with it. So for her to say, don't think of me as Rose McGowan, the actress, I hung up those, those shoes a long time ago, but, and then she goes political. So it's just kind of a little bit of I think she kind of, she didn't set, I don't think she ruined it with that, but I'm just thinking, maybe she'll be well composed, and I think she was. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of that, and then we'll keep going. We'll go on to the shenanigans that are going on right now. It's a little bit of reindeer games. I mean, what can we expect? I mean, is this a legitimate process? Is this a legitimate government at this point? No matter what you think, you are at this point. So I'm just going to play just a little bit of this.
Why would you sell out your people, your citizens, yourself, your family, your loved ones? For what? For money? For the illusion of power? For the stranglehold you have on keeping people undereducated, underemployed, and terrorized by your government? Why? My enemies do not understand me. Okay, I don't understand them. We're at a fundamental impasse at that point. So imagine my surprise last week when I'm on the Dave Rubin show and we're talking about the recall, which I'd only had kind of a tangential awareness of because I live in Mexico. I live in the jungle. It took a lot from me in the US. I'm scared of this place. It's been very cruel to me. It has not been kind. A lot of people in this country like to kill that which they don't understand. It's like a cult. I grew up in one. I would know. I know all the markers. So I'm asking people watching or people reporting on this. First of all, don't report on me as an actress. I hung up that shingle 10 years ago. I fought my way out of that world. I deserve more respect than that. Thank you. That's a side note. So imagine my surprise when I'm on air with Dave, and I said, yeah, even it came back to me. Gavin Newsom's ex-wife contacted me. And I said her name, and he said, that's his current wife. I said, it is? I mean, I have so many monsters after me during the period that she made contact. An organization called We Are Ultraviolet that I do not trust, a feminist activism group, got a hold of me and said, Jennifer Siebel Newsom, she's a big producer of feminist films and Hollywood documentaries. She's pro-women. She'll help you. I just directed a movie. It was nominated for Grand Jury Prize at Sundance. And because of the consistent and total blacklisting that I had endured for almost all of my career, haphazard as it was, after Weinstein assaulted me, I thought maybe someone will help me finally. Maybe somebody will be real. Maybe this will be the one, because I always hope. They haven't taken that away from me. God, they've come close. So after Dave tells me that she's his current wife, on the way home, I go through my emails and I'm like, and I remembered, I said, yeah, his ex-wife called me and said, what will it take? What can Boyce Schiller do to make you happy? Now, I had no idea who Boyce Schiller was at this point. This is about 4.5 months before the expose that I set up in the New York Times came out. I didn't know who Du Bois was. I didn't know he was an operator trying to suppress me. At this point, I did not know that he had already gone to former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak of Israel and say, who should I hire to stop Rose McGowan? I did not know. I could feel the shadow of people around me. I found recording devices in my car, in my house. Nude photos hacked and disseminated, courtesy from whom I believe to be Lisa Bloom, another big feminist attorney, another big Democrat. So when I finally got on the phone with Jennifer Siebel Newsom for what I assumed was about movie projects, imagine my surprise when she says, what can Boyce Schiller do to make you happy? And I had no idea who that was. So I just said nothing and hung up on her. That was my last contact with her. And then the expose broke. And I spent years setting this up, years behind the scenes. Hounded at every turn. So then I go through my emails, and I remembered upon seeing this long email where Jennifer Siebel Newsom is inferring that she was a Weinstein rape victim to get into this private email group of Weinstein rape victims. And the other day, I was reading it and I was like, oh, I had forgotten about this lady. I had forgotten about this treachery because there were so many. It was coming at me every day from all sides. My only goal was to take down some monsters and show people that you do not have to be out there with a picket sign. You do not have to bite at the ankles of power. You do have to cut off its head. It is a hydra. It is a many-headed beast. You get one down, another pops up. That's what I was dealing with. Plus global derision, paid off media that Weinstein had paid off for so many years to destroy me because I never signed a non-disclosure agreement. He was right. I was his enemy. And he was correct. I am formidable. Again,
Okay. I'm actually going to stop this here, and then I'll probably go forward with it a little bit so that it kind of, because to me, it took her a long time to get to, let's put the link together here, because otherwise this is just, it feels more like a Me Too platform. Not that I'm saying that I am in disbelief of her experience or her trauma, if you will, but that was, a little bit long on the front there. And then eventually, Larry kind of comes in here. So, but she did have some valid things to say, that she did have some, dare I say, for the people kind of comments that she got to. And I'm, same out there. I had to go through it a few times for Joseph Francis Burton. So I'm going to just go for it here just a little bit, and then we'll move on here.
This is not a country or a state for everyone. This is a country for the few. This is a country for people like Hair Gel in the Bahamas. Okay, that's where you're attacking this man, me, and anybody who's like, why not change? Why not be better? So as an outsider, someone not from this country changed my name the first day I got here at 11. My name is Rosa Ariana. They changed it to Rose. I forgot that till 2 years ago. It has stolen so much. And it does it to all of you. I've traveled the world and I've had so many people say to me, Americans are the most uneducated. Not wrong, but they are wrong in this. It's undereducated. It's systematic, and it's done to you all on purpose to keep you part of a complicity machine that benefits you. This is not a country or a state for everyone. It's a country for the few. This is a country for people like Hair Gel in the Bahamas. Okay, that's the reality. And I really wish I had better news. It gives me no pleasure to be the bearer of truth, which is sometimes ugly. But do you want a society that has gangrene on its leg, but puts on a fancy suit and pretends it's not there while they hobble in pain? Or do you want to just stop, look at reality, take your medicine, clean up the wound, and run? Run free. Why not change? Why not go big? Why not put a stake in the heart of evil? Because that's what this really is. This is good and this is evil. And if you're tired of people looking at this country like it's the Florida of the world, which it is, looked upon that way, because it's earned it in a lot of ways. I know this place has it in it to be better. I know it does. I've met so many good people in this country, not the elites, absolutely not. But the person I meet, that's the housekeeper at the hotel I'm staying at, who shouldn't even have that title because she's a queen of a woman. And then we have the Jennifer Siebel Newsoms of the world. Why? Why do you keep choosing them? Why do you keep electing them? Don't listen to their buzzwords, cult leaders, which is what these people are. I would know, I grew up in one, like I said. They massage your mind. They keep you in fear. They keep you in doubt. I kind of suspect on the inside that this is all a lie, but I don't want to be the one that stands out, takes it on the chin. Well, I'm here to confirm for you, it is a lie. It is a fact. And when I say things, like, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm like, I didn't tell you how I felt about it. I told you a fact. That's a different thing. Start noticing in your life how many times people will tell you, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. And start being brave enough to stand out, brave enough to be different, brave enough to challenge. Does it cost? Yes. But if we all do it, it will get so much easier. It will get so much better. I believe in this man because I know his mind, and I would like to think on some level I know his heart. Take away the Republican word, take away the Democrat word, okay? Who do you want to govern you? Someone who cares passionately, even though you may disagree with him on some points? Or do you want somebody who's really operating behind the scenes to keep you all in ignorance while they rob the bank and go to the Bahamas?
All right, I'm going to stop it there. So I think you might be picking up a little bit. I think she managed to bring it back to the lectern, if you will, or at least the the placard on the lectern there. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I do have some people that are just coming in. So that was the Rose McGowan presser / endorsement and / expose from yesterday. So I just want to say hi to a few people in the chat, and then we're going to go on to some of the shenanigans from some of the Californians who approached the polls with, ambitions that they would be, voting in the recall election. So hello to Anarchy Television, DJ Vision Barnett. It's been a lifetime. Thank you for coming in. And John H. Roberts Jr. The Manson, I think she was involved with him on some level. In fact, that movie that I quoted her on, I think he even appeared. He had an appearance in that movie as well. So let's read a couple of comments here. By the way, Joseph Francis Burton says that never heard of her before this week. So I'm not sure. Maybe it's a cultural thing, a generational thing, but I guess it doesn't really matter. I think you can kind of deconstruct, or you can kind of pick up something from what she was putting down there, even if the front part of it doesn't make any sense. I think she's just kind of showing a little bit on the character of Newsom and even his wife, and that whole Hollywood little circle there that you have. John H. Roberts says she seems to be involved in so many things. She has credibility because no one she accuses denies her assertions. Okay, so with that said, I am going to, as promised, I'm going to take you to some of the in-person footage, I guess, from the polls. And of course, I think the news, they've been coming out with fake news stories. I've been told by a source that's pretty close to me, in fact, that they were even saying yesterday that Newsom had actually conceded the election. And so, yeah, they're pulling out all the stops, dare I say, running all these cuts. And it's just because they have nothing. And they have had nothing. So we'll see what happens there. But I want to take you to just a couple of these experiences, and I don't have to tell you, you can see for yourself. And then we also have something from Market Watch that kind of talks about what kind of measures are going to be taken in order to, I guess, this is going to be a reviewed election, whether it's resolved, whether it's, called tonight or not, which I don't think it's going to be called, which you're probably down to about down to a little less than like an hour, less than 2 hours already, if you haven't gone in and found out what your fate was. So we'll change that, and then we'll go to our pollsters, our poll visitors, if you will. So I'm going to take you to the polls. This is kind of a couple of different examples and different timestamps that we'll be looking at here. So I think we'll start with one, and then we'll go to the next one. And this is I think the Woodland Hills polling place, and then we'll go to the next one. I'll make sure I give you guys the full screen on this. Hope you guys are doing well, and thank you if you're just now joining us. All right, so for this one is from this was yesterday. So people, of course, have already been voting and showing up. This one comes from a Logan Raddick. He shared this from an Emmon. He says, my wife and I just went to vote at 6543 Corbin Avenue, Woodland Hills, California. And when 467, our names showed that someone had already voted for us. On top of that, they said that about 70% of the voters who showed up experienced the same thing. And I'm going to take you to another one in which I guess there's some questions. It took about 30 days for them to do. So I'm going to show you this one. And if you guys give me a 1 or 2, or give me something if you're not hearing all of this, I'm going to play this one. Turn the volume up here.
We got your vote in this county. after the election is over.
Yeah, it takes about 30 days for
See,
them to do that.
this won't even work.
But
Oh, it works because they count during that time.
No,
It's just that you don't get notified until later on.
okay, so let me understand. About 70% of the votes at this location
Yes.
have been shown as already casted when they were
Right.
not.
This is horrible. You look familiar, by the way.
And my only option at this point is to fill out one of these,
No, you have to fill provisional,
okay, which I don't want to do,
or you can go to another center like maybe Pierce College
okay?
and vote there.
This is my center. I live next door.
Yeah, but, I mean, this is for the entire LA County, but yeah, I hear what you're saying. It is closer.
So
yeah.
these systems are not
But
connected.
what I'm saying, I'm presenting the option. that
You're the
yeah.
supervisor.
Yes.
Did you report this?
Yes.
So they know it all the way up.
Yes. It's going all the way up.
Do you think that matters?
Well, we're going to be getting some help about this one, but yes,
But no, I think people like us need to report this to election board for GOP and all that. Whatever.
Do you have some information for us that we can go ahead and contact the supervisors on top of you guys?
See, and then this morning, what was so funny, Gavin Newsom and him were like, said,
All right, so those are some of your prime. There you go, Derek C. Williams. You said it. Does that sound like something you've heard before? Yeah. So, but it's also like even in some of the other counties, you know, I'm getting some of the same kinds of information or same kinds of reportings, and many people were very much, you know, actually go to the polls, but to be met with, you know, the thing that they were trying to avoid or, you know, they were trying to prevent. So I have no idea. I do think this is going to be drawn out, and I have no idea. It's going to be the reverb recall, I guess, is what it's going to end up being, for lack of a better word. And let me we have one more example here, a little bit more details, but then there was also a KTLA story that, you know, supported the same kind of thing. It made I'm surprised it made the main local news. I was surprised, and so I'll take you to another example on that, so you can at least you'll have 2 to 3 different ones here. So as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to share one more example with you, and then we'll move on to what the Market Watch measures that are in place for the situation. And yes, so yeah, this very much is like 2020. So I'm just thinking, where is this stuff going to end? Do you think it's going to end? So we'll go to another voting location, and I'm going to play this one for you. So let me know if you don't have the sound, and I will work it out.
Places like El Camino Court. And Rick, this is quite a story. Good question. What is going on? We spoke with several concerned voters here in the West San Fernando Valley who believe something wonky had been going on at places like El Camino Real Charter High School in Woodland Hills. This place opened up as an early polling location, open 10 a.m. to 7.
A little buffering going on there. Not sure.
Will tell us.
There we go.
They showed up to vote this morning in the special California governor recall election and were told that computers showed they had already cast their ballots. So what? Staffers, they say, were apologetic and helpful, but those voters we talked to are extremely concerned, suspicious, and wanting answers. California native and current West Hills resident, 88-year-old Estelle Bender, spoke with us just a short time ago. What happened today? No shock.
Very. I went to El Camino High School to vote. Got there at 10:30, gave her this, and she scanned it and said, "You voted." I said, "No, I haven't." And she said, "This has been happening all morning." The man next to me was arguing the same thing. So as I left, I did the provisional ballot and left. I was just really angry. And I saw 2 women walking toward me as I left. And I said, "Don't be surprised if they tell you you've already voted." And she said, "They've already done that." If I voted, how did I vote?
And who did you vote for?
Well, I asked the couple, the young women that I talked to, and I said, are you by any chance Republicans? She said, yes. And I said, well, so am I. And so are the two friends that had the problem at VFW. So.
Makes you suspicious.
I would think so. And still, I'd like to know how I voted.
All right, take a look. The LA County Registrar's Office released a statement tonight following our inquiries. A spokesman says the voters who experienced this issue were offered and provided a provisional ballot, the fail-safe option to ensure no one is turned away from vote. Provisional ballots are regular ballots, and once the eligibility of the voter is verified, they are processed and counted. After troubleshooting the issue, the equipment at the locations was replaced and voting continued. We'll have more throughout the night. Now reporting live in Woodland Hills, I'm Chris Wolf, KTLA 5 News.
Sorry, I'm on mute there. Okay. Sorry about that. So that's you kind of got the gist of what's been going on there. And that's why I'm saying I don't think this thing is going to get called tonight. In fact, I don't think it's going to be called this week. In fact, I don't think it's going to get called next week. But I will tell you, I'm going to take a quick break and come back and show you what's coming out in terms of I guess somebody already suspected that something was going to go on like this, but I don't know what it means long term. So we'll take a quick break and I'll be right back. This show is brought to you in part by our sponsors. Whether you're interested in health, culture, politics, scripture, automobiles, or music, please check out Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Marcy T, Joseph Francis Burton, Paralysis by Analysis, Chrysler Imperial H, Little Miss Goth, AZ Infidel, Cold War Jesus, Anthony Scioli, and Let the Truth Be Told. We'll be right back right after this. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And hello to Mad Militant. Thank you so much for coming in. So now we're going to go to the liner, which we have from a Market Watch. And I'm not sure. I would imagine that maybe even, who knows if the Election Integrity Project is going to get involved, if they're not already. But what does it actually mean at the end of the day? And, is it going to end up in court? And then what does that mean? I mean, you guys, I think you know the drill. So we'll go there. And then we'll wrap this one up. Just want to give you a little bit of some up-to-date information. And if we have something that anything close to a call, then I'll give it to you. But I'm just thinking that it's not going to happen. So it's not going to be like a recall watch. We call watch results are going to happen tonight. I'm just not even close. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't say, hey, why don't you just vote all the way up until November, same as, general election. I'm surprised he didn't say something like that. So we're going to share this and then we're going to be done. All right. According to this, Election security experts call for rigorous audit to protect. This was done on the 2nd, by the way, to protect the California recall. A letter urges extra caution since copies of Dominion voting machines software were released publicly. A group of election security experts on Thursday called for a rigorous audit of the upcoming California gubernatorial recall after copies of systems used to run elections across the country were released publicly. Their letter sent to the Secretary of State's office urges the state to conduct a type of post-election audit that can help detect malicious attempts to interfere. Statewide recall targeting Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom set for September 14th is the first election since the copies of the Dominion voting systems election management systems were distributed last month at an event organized by MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell, an ally of former President Donald Trump, who has made unsubstantiated claims about last year's election. Election offices across 30 states use Dominion system, including 40 counties in California. Election security experts have said the breaches from a county in Colorado and another in Michigan posed a heightened risk to elections because the system is used for a number of administrative functions, from designing ballots and configuring voting machines to tallying results. In the letter, the experts said they do not have evidence that anyone plans to attempt a hack of the systems used in California and are not casting blame on Dominion. Quote, however, it is critical to recognize that the release of the Dominion software into the wild has increased the risk to the security of California elections to point the emergency action is warranted. To the point that emergency action is warranted, end quote. The experts wrote in the letter, which was shared with the Associated Press. The 8 experts signing the letter include computer scientists, election technology experts, and cybersecurity researchers. Jenna Dresner, a spokesperson for Secretary of State Shirley Weber, said that 40 counties in California using Dominion employ a different version of the election management system that meets various state-specific requirements. She outlined numerous security measures in place to protect voting systems across the state. That includes regular testing for vulnerabilities, strict controls on who has access, physical security rules, and pre-election testing to ensure that no part of the system has been modified. Quote, California has the strictest and most comprehensive voting system, voting testing use and requirements in the country, and it was designed to withstand potential threats, end quote, Dresner said in a statement to the AP. That's interesting, right? The security experts want California counties using Dominion's election management system to do what's known as a, quote, risk limiting audit, end quote, which essentially uses a statistical approach to ensure that the reported results match the actual votes cast. California also uses paper ballots, which makes it easier to verify results. The letter said differences between the leaked Dominion software images and the versions used in California are relatively minor. The experts said thousands of people now have access to underpinnings of Dominion's election management system, including some who may have access to voting equipment. Quote, that increases the risk of undetected outcome change cyber attacks on California counties that use Dominion equipment and the risk of accusations of fraud and election manipulation, which, without rigorous post-election auditing, would be impossible to disprove, end quote, the letter states. So it doesn't look like that happened, right? It doesn't look like the experts, they didn't follow the experts, right? Who knows? Who knows? All right. So once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. I really appreciate it. And let's see. And now for some comments here. TDOA still around. Derek C. Williams says, here in Pennsylvania, a politician called on Dominion to account for, quote, voter irregularities, end quote, in the 2020 GE. They defied the summons. There you go. And Derek C. Williams says, quote, hacking democracy, a damn good documentary. I'll look it up. And hi, Zero the Infinite. How are you? And Zero the Infinite's doing some house rules. Yeah, I'm not even sure, if those are those valid or relevant anymore. I'm still not on the list. I'm not gonna make the list, that's for sure. But I guess if you think it'll help, great if you guys do it. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to take a quick break and come back and say salute to everyone. And I think the final theme here is I don't think we're going to have a call on this. I don't think there's going to be a call on this situation. You'll probably get some more fake news stories, some fake polls, but you won't have a conclusion. I guess you could have a conclusion if it's based on the people that are running the roost. I guess you will have you'll have their conclusion based on they're so prepared for election discrepancies that there's no way that you won't get a call tonight. But we'll be right back. All right. Thank you guys so much for coming in. And I want to say salute to everyone. And thank you so much for coming in. And I want to say thank you to my friends over on Twitch. Thank you for tuning in. All right. Nick Smith. Nick Smith was the first person in. I think you guys were hanging out earlier on my delay there. I apologize for that. Nick Smith, thank you for coming in. Jermaine G. Thank you, Tyrant Spain TDOA, for supporting the channel and hanging around. Flashback LG, thank you for coming in. Derek C. Williams, it's always nice to see you. Thank you for coming in. Joseph Francis Burden. So did you change over from your Omega variant? You went back to Joseph Francis Burden. Thank you so much for coming in and for supporting. And John H. Roberts Jr., thank you for coming in. And DJ Vision Barnett, thank you. It's nice to see you. Anarchy Television. And I think I got everyone. No, Mad Militant. Mad Militant is here. And thank you, Mad Militant, because I saw this. I saw the posting on the first posting of Rose McGowan's speech on your page. So I had to dig around a little bit more. All right, guys. Well, I really appreciate you for tuning in. Okay. All right, I think we have a little bit of a delay there. We'll see what happens there. All right, guys, I really appreciate it. So we are going to get out of here. And I will see you guys on the next live stream in the comment section on a video, or if we have a call. Yeah, if we have a call, I will bring that to you. I really appreciate it. I think we have a little bit of a snafu right now. So I am going to call